Your bathroom may be one of the smallest spaces in your home, but moving into 2026, this is going to be your biggest flex. Some trends can really make a bathroom look like a sanctuary, and it's something you never want to leave. But on the other end, there are some trends that can make your bathroom look extremely dated and honestly, such a waste of money. As an interior designer, I have loved designing people's kitchens and their entire homes. But one of my specialties is always a bathroom. But a bathroom is one of those areas that are so user specific. I love understanding how clients live in their homes and what they actually enjoy for their needs and their wants in a bathroom. This is one of those sanctuaries that you spend a lot of time in. There's a lot of needs, a lot of wants, and a lot of aesthetic goals that you always want for your bathroom for you to actually enjoy being in. So today we are going to go through the bathroom trend predictions of 2026 to know what's hot and what's not. We're gonna start off with something wild, and in my opinion, I think this is such an incredible approach to design. It is the geometric vanities. Now, these pictures I know look wild, but guess what? That is the whole purpose of this. For these kind of designs, I think the application looks so great in powder rooms. This isn't something that you're gonna be putting in your regular ensuite or a bathroom that doesn't get used very often. This is where you make the best bang for your buck. Whenever I'm designing a powder room, I always want the vanity to be front and center. It's either on the back wall when you first walk in and the toilet is hidden off to the side. I don't want to be walking into a bathroom and the first thing I see is a toilet. I know what happens in a toilet. It's not great. This is not the first thing you want to see when you walk into space to set the tone. You want something that instantly elevates the style and also creates a vibe. And these geometric styles do just that. These make such a bold and impactful statement. This is something where I've always advocated for when it comes to powder room design. Having something that stands out, something that also your guests can talk about. Because if I go into a powder room and you have a vanity that looks like this, you best believe that I immediately know your sense of style and I know that you're chic. What's really great about these geometric styles is that they also do not overwhelm the space. In these small, tighter rooms, this is where you play with the geometry and the shape of a room to really make it impactful. It's also really important to note the scale and the proportion of those rooms. If you have a really long space, having one of these smaller geometric ones is not going to work. It needs to be in a confined powder room for these spaces to be the impact, and this is what's going to look proportionate. Keep in mind that these custom vanities are going to cost you a pretty penny, so I want you to really make sure that you love the style and also the stone you're choosing. I feel like for years now, people have been trying to make the mixed metal trend work. This is where I'm kind of on the fence about it, but honestly, I'm gonna say no. I think mixed metal can be really beautiful in certain applications. The downside to it is that it looks really busy visually, depending on the rest of the finishes and how it's installed in the application. Now, when it comes to mixing metals, God, trust me, my OCD is like bothered by wearing different metals. As long as it's in a different visual connection, that's what I'm okay with. Same application when it comes to your home. If you're in a bathroom and you're looking at your sink, I want the metal frame of the mirror to be the same color as the metal finish on the countertop. That includes your faucet. When I'm looking at the mirror, I want the wall sconces, that finish, to match the metal of the actual frame of the mirror. This is what I talk about, that same visual connection of what connects each piece to another. Now, if you're doing two metals, if you have a different metal on the ceiling, that's okay, because that visually you are not seeing in the same frame as the wall sconces, the mirror, or the faucet. That is the one and only time I will allow mixed metals to work. Otherwise, it just ends up looking really messy and it looks like you weren't able to get that finished match, so you got something to put it in between, and trust me, it's not doing you any favors. I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's eclectic. It does not read eclectic. It just looks like it doesn't work. Someone was saying that unique mirrors are in. Now, if you've been following me for a while, you already know I have been on this trend for a while now when it comes to uniquely styled mirrors. Now, I'm not talking about those blob ones that look super weird or with the scalloped edges. This is one of those things that you are looking in every single time that you're in a bathroom. So having a unique mirror adds that extra elevated flair to a space that looks chic and well designed. For the longest time, people have been, let's do a rectangle. Come on, people, if you are boring, just say so.
Well, I've got news for you. You're boring.
Now, I know that's really rude of me to say, but rectangular mirrors pigeonhole you into a very specific look, which is usually traditional or transitional. What's great about round mirrors or something that has a more organic shape or even like a really dictated style to it, this is where you make your impact, people. This is also such a small detail that overshadows the rest of the design to make sure that you know what you're talking about when it comes to design. This is also a great way to add character without amplifying or taking away from the other elements in your space. I have always always been an advocate for mirrors because they can double as pieces of art, and having a uniquely shaped one or a beautiful frame is exactly how you bring art, form, and detail together. This controversial one is an application for your showers. Now, we have been moving away from the niche, and when I say niche, not niche.
It's pretentious as f.
Now, I know a lot of people are gonna get angry in the comments about this one because niche is the American way of saying it. Niche is French. I don't wanna sound pretentious, but at the same time, it sounds pretentious. Say it correct, people. For the longest time, we've had a niche in the showers. While it's great, it has everything you need. The problem with niches is depending on the install, it ends up being faulty. We've been moving away from the niche to a shelf type detail, which is elongated, which I honestly am kind of neutral about. It really depends on the size of your bathroom and the shower for how it looks in the space. What's great about a shelf is you double or triple the amount of counter space that you have for your items in the shower. And if we're being honest, you have your hair care, you have your skin care, you have your body wash, you have your face wash, you have your shaving cream. You probably have about 50 products in your shower, or close to, depending. Some people, like men, or I should say some men, have that one bottle of a 25-in-1 wash that you could use in every application. You could probably also use it as car oil, but you know, that's just me. The one problem with these shelf details is it really depends on the application, the size of the shower, as I mentioned before. If you are renovating your shower and you have the wall space to move it back and create a bench or a shelf, that is fantastic. If you don't, you're impacting the width or the depth of the shower to build in an application like this. So it really comes down to the amount of space that you have allocated for your shower and the walls themselves of how you can actually install these. What's great about these shelf details is it also adds this kind of level of geometric architecture that really makes an impact in your space. It looks super clean, super simple, and especially if you're doing a slab application or a large format tile for the full shower surround, it looks so good. I feel like a lot of these trends are introduced by rich people because this next one is wild. It is a shower in the middle of a room, and not just in the middle of a room. It is an open shower in the middle of the room, people. Now, the only time I have ever seen this application look good is when I'm on vacation and it is an outdoor shower, because water is getting literally everywhere. It splashes left, right, center, up, down, and there's just a small drain in the middle. People have been doing these in homes. And unless you have a spa level bathroom or enough room to have this, these applications just look so out of touch. If you have a shower and you live in any climate that is other than just summer or warm weather all the time, you understand how cold a shower can get. And the reason why showers are confined is to keep the warmth in there when you're actually showering. This is a trend that I would typically avoid. The only time I have ever seen these applications look good is when it is in a perfectly styled architectural digest Pinterest photo. And as you can see, they look beautiful. Are they practical? Absolutely not. For the longest time, we have either had a deck mounted faucet or wall mounted faucet, which, like I said, there is nothing wrong with. One design trend that I am definitely for in bathrooms is the offset faucet. I think it allows for so much more extra room when you are applying your makeup, washing your hands, just cleaning in general. Having that offset faucet also makes it more personalized, either having it to the left or the right. This is a question I always ask my clients when I'm designing their bathrooms. Are you left-handed or are you right-handed? How much space do you need on the counter? Do you need to offset the sink with the faucet on the left so you actually have more space on the right, or do we need to do the complete opposite? What's really beautiful about these faucets is it gives the moment for the actual countertop and the stone application that you're using it for. It allows the backdrop, whether you're doing a backsplash, whether you're doing a paint, a microcement, or whatever that tiled finish goes up, to be the moment. It takes away that aspect of having the wall mounted that usually requires more maintenance, or that deck mounted that becomes the focus, to now focusing on the rest of the details in your bathroom. It also keeps the design of your bathroom more interesting. This works really well if you like that minimalistic, more modern style bathroom. Vintage has always been trying to make a comeback in every manner, and I've been seeing a lot of people apply vintage styles to a bathroom remodel. Now, while I can be on board for certain details, like if you have a really beautiful vanity that's vintage and you want to bring it in and reuse it and repurpose it, fantastic. The problem is a lot of people do not consider the existing design style of a bathroom and how the application will actually feel cohesive. If you're just slapping in a vintage vanity, it's going to look so out of place. You really need to consider the design elements of the the rest of the space to make sure it feels cohesive, but it also looks like it belongs in the space. The problem with these vintage style bathrooms is it comes off very themey and almost kitschy with how it feels like you're just walking into a costume shop. That being said, if you're doing this in a bathroom application for a powder room, it can look good when done well, especially if you're doing it with that vintage wallpaper in a powder room where you don't have that steam for the wallpaper is going to actually curl like you would in your regular bathroom. The problem with this trend is that it's going to also date a lot quicker than any other application you're going to have for your bathroom. Reeded glass isn't anything new, but I've been seeing that upcoming design trend of people introducing into their bathrooms. Now I want you to consider a few things. First of all, how big is your bathroom? Because as beautiful as reeded glass is, trust me, I wanted to do reeded glass in our renovation for one of our bathrooms. I wanted to have it to kind of like close off the bathroom so it feels more sexy and intimate. The problem with that is that it closes off half the size of your room. If you have a small bathroom and you're introducing that reeded glass, you are creating a visual divide between the actual space. So unless you have a really big bathroom or a really big shower, reeded glass is the only time that it would actually approve in this application, which is why I'm going to be a little bit more neutral on this. I'm not for or against. It really depends on the application. When it comes to bathrooms, once again, this is one of your serene, calm spaces. And this is why I've been seeing a lot of people doing a single tone for a tile for the floor that continues up into the wall, whether it's in the shower or a half wall around the entire perimeter of the bathroom. This I am for. I think this is a really great application if you're not too sure what you want to do in your bathroom, but you want it to be super clean, super sleek, super simple, and really easy to clean. Having that same finish on the floor that connects to the wall in the shower allows you to give that expansive look in your bathroom to make it feel like it's bigger than it is, because your eye connects to the floor, goes up the tile on the front of the shower or on the tub on the front, and then continues into the entire perimeter. This gives you the visual trick of your eye of their space feeling bigger. The only time this application works well though is if you are using a simplified tile or a slab finish that continues the same veining all the way throughout. I've seen far too many applications that use really busy tile for this, and it actually makes your space feel way smaller because there's just way too much visual movement. Now I wish I had a poop joke for this, but I really don't. But when it comes to your toilets, having a smart toilet is honestly, if you have sat on a smart toilet or have used a smart toilet, you know that this is a little luxury that has completely elevated any bathroom experience.
Okay, how much?
A built-in bidet, hello. Do you know what it's like to have a clean butthole? Because you are missing out. Having a heated seat as well is like next level. We're getting them for our renovation, and I'm a little bit worried about Anthony because he already spends about 30 minutes sitting on the toilet on his phone. He's gonna be in there for an hour having a heated seat. Like, this is like next level, people. Now I know they're a little bit more expensive, but this is one of those things that I always say splurge for. This is a high use item. You're using this all the time, and it's a little luxury that's going to elevate that experience in a bathroom. I got a couple more for you because this last one was a trend they tried to introduce for your entire home, and now they're trying to make it fetch for your bathroom, and it is the biophilic design. Once again, I'm kind of neutral about this because I think the application for a biophilic design is all about bringing in aspects of nature. Plants, feeling like you're connected to the outdoors. The problem with this is that you require a lot of extra space. If I could have a shower that I could walk in with rainforest plants all around me, trust me, this would be an absolute dream. The other problem with these applications is not only the space, but also the products you use. If you have live plants in your shower, which once again is an absolute dream, you need to consider the products that you're using, the toxicity of them, and the water leaching that's going to connect to those plants when they're kind of like washing off, or if they're actually in the shower setting themselves. There's a few applications that have introduced plants into showers for renovations, and this is the way to do it correctly. Do not have plants on the floor. This is a terrible idea and an accident waiting to happen. There's a project in Vancouver I'm working on right now where we have a full skylight in the entire shower. And because we have a drop down that comes around, we've done a shelf perimeter around the entire skylight itself, which has allowed us to have plants hanging. So we can have all of these pothos and vine plants coming down to make it feel like you're in that spa-like biophilic atmosphere with it actually being functional. Sculptural tiles, once again, aren't anything new, but they've been something that's been trying to make an impact. When it comes to sculptural tiles, I want you to consider the application because I am so for this, only in a bathroom setting that's not in your shower. Because if you're doing those 3D tiles or something that has that sculptural aspect to it, it creates an extra ledge for grime and water to have buildup. This is where you need to be very specific in the applications and where it's actually being installed, because sculptural tiles can be unbelievably beautiful when they're used in the right space, especially in bathrooms that are typically quite flat and one-dimensional. Having that extra little bit of texture and detail can really make an impact in your space. The last one I am 100% against, and it is geometric tiles. For the longest time, people have been trying to introduce these tiles in certain applications, and in my opinion, it looks way too trendy. If you have those octagon tiles, I am so sorry. The only time they ever look good is in a commercial setting. When I see people on Pinterest doing that transition between flooring and octagon tile, it looks so trendy. As soon as I saw it, I was like, this is not for you people. Having it in your space is creating too much visual distraction because there's too many additional lines and your eyes cannot connect from one point to another without being stopped by another tile in front of them. You really risk your space feeling dated quickly if you use these geometric ones. Use softer shapes and more sculptural elements to have your eye travel through the space to once again connect from point A to point B without any stops. These bathroom trends are all about the context. I know there's so many different applications and rules to make these work, but I need to know in the comments, what trends are you for and what trends are you against when it comes to your bathroom? Because a bathroom, once again, can be an oasis, but it can also be a trendy graveyard. You know what to do, like the video, and if you're not already subscribed, you're honestly missing out because we go over every possible thing for your home, all the daily tips and tricks that you need to know for your home to make it look timeless and also feel personalized to you. You can also follow me on Instagram and TikTok for all my daily tips and tricks, and trust me, you don't want to miss out that either because I have some great stuff for you if you can't wait until next week's video on YouTube. And always remember, if you're ever second guessing yourself, just ask, what would Design Daddy do?